Welcome back to another roundtable. I'm Adam, that's Rizman.
Hello.
Victor.
Hi everyone.
Thank you for joining us. And today we're going to share one under the radar mid-cap company that has grown tremendously well over the last 10-20 years. You may not know about it, but this is a case study I want to share with you because it just gives you an example of how you can find some kind of like, would you say it's a boring company?
Boring industry.
It's quite a boring company, but the growth is tremendous.
Yes.
Right, and it's not something that you would think that is a high growth thing, but it's a growth. It's tremendous growth, and we're going to share the characteristics with you, how we found it, and how you can find similar companies like that when you apply the same steps that we take. All right, so this company, without further ado, is called Pool Corporation or Pool Corp. All right, and they make and build swimming pools.
So boring.
All right, so let's find out more about this company and what makes it such a great investment. So just maybe before we start into that, what's the business model of Pool Corp?
So basically, this company is the largest wholesale distributor for swimming pools and related outdoor living products, right? So they have, I think, sales channel about 420 sales centers, right? With they distribute about 200 over thousands products, Right, and their customers are roughly around 125,000, and usually it's wholesale customers. That means like when you build a swimming pool, you won't go and build a swimming pool yourself.
You
get
don't
a
build it yourself.
the construction company to build it for you, right? So the wholesale customer is actually all these construction companies.
I remember you told me that you built a swimming pool before for your dad.
Oh, because my dad used to work in the construction, so I was helping him to build that.
So you're one of the workers.
I'm not the one of the workers, but I'm supervising the workers that building the swimming pool. Yeah.
So he is technically a contractor under his dad.
My dad. I'm just a supervisor under him. Okay,
all right.
That was a long time ago.
Okay.
Right? So what happened is that so once you build the pool, then they provide all those like maintenance service. Then once in a while, your pool requires some replacement of products and all this. So they provide all these products, and of course outside of the pools, they have those irrigation and landscape and outdoor living. Right. So those are not the so-called not the pool business, right? So the pool business itself is about 90% of their total revenue. The rest of the 10% is what we call the green business, right? The pool business, they call it blue business. The other 10% is about green business, where they just do things that are outside of the pool. Like your tiles on the pool, you want to beautify it. Maybe near your pool there's a grass, you need to, get all those machine to trim your grass and all this, right? So that is the business. Then they distribute under these few brands like SCP and Superior Pool Products is basically for the pool business. The green business is Horizon and MPT, right? And also they got a lot of their own private labels and exclusive product brands and all this. So if you look in terms of their revenue breakdown, they have like new pool construction, which is about 17% of the sales. Then some of the pools they are old, they want to renovate or remodel it, so that's about 22%. And finally, the last one is like DIY retail and maintenance. So that means you buy some parts and you do maintenance and all this, right? Which is the higher percentage at 61%, which is more of the recurring business as the installation of the pool increase.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because people think you build a swimming pool and it's done. But there's a lot of maintenance.
Yes,
every month you need to get someone to maintain it. Otherwise, you can have some mosquito issue if you don't pour in the chlorines and all that stuff, right? So it's something where you need to maintain it on the monthly basis. And then just imagine you don't maintain the pool and it looks disgusting when you reach home. It becomes green. And then you may have something inside also.
Okay,
right?
So the bigger this business grows, the bigger the installed base becomes. The more recurring revenue.
Recurring in terms of the maintenance and all this. But of course, eventually, the existing pool will get old and they have to, replace parts. Okay. Or they want to just change the whole pool, like you said, remodeling and renovation.
So a typical lifespan for a swimming pool is about 20 years.
Okay, it's quite long.
So,
but still.
So a bulk of the business for Pool Corp is actually mainly in the United States, right? And they actually, discover that, or rather maybe because of the weather, the southern part and the western part of North America, you have more swimming pool usually. Because of the weather, they are a lot warmer as compared to the northern part of the United States, right? So that's why I think about of the Pool Corp, I think customers are actually mainly based in the US, but they're towards to not southern part and also the western part of the US.
So this is basically an overview of its business model. I think most people will understand it. It's a simple business.
Yep.
Everyone understands swimming pools.
Basically, it's your printer and cartridge business.
Yeah, that's true. And I think we know the business now, but everyone's asking, so what is their performance? Because you've been saying it's a great business, you know.
Yep.
Yes.
So tell us more about its performance over the last 10, 20 years.
Yeah,
whatever.
so if you look at the revenue, which I have the figure over here, the past 10 years growth for the revenue is about 12.2% CAGR,
Wow,
right?
okay.
Compound annual growth rate, right? But of course, in recent 2021, 2022, I think there's a lot of COVID boom, right? Everybody just want to...
They were staying at home.
Staying at home, yeah. I just want
I'll make a
pool.
swimming pool.
Yeah, yeah.
Build a swimming pool.
Yeah, then the profit also went up significantly, right? Because of the COVID booms. So the 10 years CAGR growth is about 24.8%, right? So that is their profit growth. So if you look in terms of their share price, right, for the past 10 years, right, since Jan 2013, right, they have up about 708.21%.
Okay.
So basically 7 times, they're up 7 times. And if you go to their investor relations, I think the management is obviously very proud. They say that if you're invested in PoolCorp 20 years ago at 1 million, it's going to be 34 million right now.
Okay, so they 34 times.
Yeah,
over 20 years.
Over
Yeah.
20 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Swimming pool business.
Just a swimming pool business.
Not sexy at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the return is very sexy.
Yeah, I mean, this is also an example where a lot of time when people want to invest, I want to see whether it's in a growth industry,
Yep.
you know, is the industry growing, is it sexy?
Mm-hmm.
But there's also cases where you are able to find companies that grow like this, but they are not in a very sexy industry.
But
Right?
there's still growth.
Yeah,
A lot of growth.
but they are just in just the normal traditional industry, but
Okay.
they're still growing, and
To-
there's no disruption to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
To be fair, I mean, this business has benefited during the pandemic, right? So even if you zoom back before the pandemic, the time when they actually benefited quite significantly, the return that they have achieved in terms of EPS was actually they're delivering about double digit, right? And the top line growth is just single digit. And why they can actually deliver double digit growth on the year to year is because they did share buybacks. Okay, one of the main things that you also need to look at, I mean, we discussed this in the Alpha Quadrant, okay, so that they will actually being able to reduce the number of share count, and that will actually help to improve your earning per share.
So basically, they have very, I would say, good management that know how to allocate the capital. Because this company, in the past, before the COVID boom, right, their valuation is quite decent. They are not in a very expensive valuation. So throughout the years, the management just keep buying back shares at the right valuation, I would say. Right. So they allocates the capital very well.
Yeah. Okay. So like this company is in a, like you say, a boring industry, but there's growth in it because there's population growth in the US.
Yeah.
People are migrating to the south and the west where it's warmer.
Yeah.
They want to build swimming pools, and it's just like a natural growth to it.
Yeah.
So I would say, I mean, we previously in one of the videos that we did, we talked about the industry life cycle.
Yes.
Yep.
How some businesses can go 10 times,
Yeah.
and this one has gone 34 times.
Yeah.
Over 20 years.
Yes.
But it's not some tech industry. It's actually just swimming pools. But it's a clear example of if the industry has space to grow, it just rides along the wave, you know, and it grows along with it. And this is the number 1, number 2 in the industry, right? It's the dominant there.
Yeah, number one.
Number 1, right?
Yeah.
I think they are like 10, 20 times bigger than their second largest
Okay,
competitor.
so this is clearly the dominant number 1 in a
Yes.
growing industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we kind of like teach you how to find these kinds of companies that have this potential to grow in Alpha Quadrant.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is an entire course on how we look at growth and value growth investing, and how we look for companies that have this kind of potential and they have great fundamentals, great management,
Yep.
Yeah.
great financials as well.
Yep.
And we teach you exactly how you can spot these companies in Alpha Quadrant. So if you're interested, check out that course. We open it 3 weeks out of the year. Whenever you're watching it, I don't know if it's still open, but please go to alphaquadrant.com/YouTube and you can sign up for it if you're interested. All right. So PoolCorp. It sounds really interesting, really, really sexy. I think I can think of ways why swimming pools could be sexy, or the people in it. But does it have the potential to grow bigger?
Yes, because if you look at the install base, a lot of swimming pools were actually built in 2000, right? So there were actually about 4 million swimming pools in the United States, and all these are due for
renewals.
Basically, you need to remodel it, and then this will provide them, the next phase of growth. And after these pools, when they change into a new pool, they usually have more sophisticated equipment, robotic, cleaner in the swimming pool, and all this break down more easily. And then, of course, you need more maintenance. Yeah, so this will be the runway that will be able to sustain them for the next 10 to 20 years. Because you look at the number of installed base, every year there will be some pool that need to be remodeled.
So basically, the install base is always increasing.
Yeah.
Right. It's always it's always taken over the previous peak, right?
So the new pool owners and the old pool owners that want new pools.
Yes, correct.
It just keeps creeping up.
So this also says that their recurring revenue, which is the maintenance and the DIY retail, is also going to keep growing because of all these existing pools stacking up over each other, right?
Yeah. And you want to have a pool in your backyard because it helps to improve the valuation of your house.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I think a lot of people were okay. I mean, to have that.
It feels it's not a cost. It's maybe like an investment. To boost the value of their property as well. So
of course, we say a lot of good stuff about Pool Corp. There are risks that you need to bear in mind when it comes to investing.
Climate change. By right, it's supposed to be a good risk for them, because
global warming.
It's global warming, it's hot, you want to have a pool, just lie
I think that really helps with the
but
growth
then
as
it's
well.
also a backfire for them, right? Eventually, the water is going to evaporate, then you still have a big pool.
Is it like water shortages? I think it could climate change could really just mess up the water supply and stuff like that. Yeah.
And of course, this sector tied very closely to the housing market in the US, and housing market in the US is semi-cyclical. And during the down cycle, you get to see less demand for pool construction. Right? But the maintenance still go on, right? Because the pool need to be maintained. Yeah, even in the winter months, some of them they will close it down, the pool. Of course, you get a contractor to come in and do it for you. Then all these contractor will need supplies, parts, and then they will get it from Pool Corp again, because they have ready stocks, and because they're so big and they're so reliant, and that's why a lot of contractor, and according to the management, they actually visit the shop in 5 minutes. They get what they want. They will just.
So they're just the most efficient as well.
And if Pool Corp increase the price to the contractor will just bill it to the customer.
You pass down the cost.
So that is the advantage of this business. But then just bear in mind that it's a bit seasonal. Sometimes in the winter months there might be a slowdown. But it's just part and parcel of the business that they will go through. Right. So I think the biggest risk is going to be your housing market. If there's another bear market like what we saw in 2008 in the US, I think you saw that look at the financial revenue actually dropped. I think by 20% from 2007 to 2009, and in terms of profit also declined. But it's not like it's loss making, right? So, but it's just that again, it's a cycle that they had to go through.
Take on that shock that happened, right? They couldn't avoid it. I mean, everyone suffered during those 2 years.
So those are the reasons that you really need to bear in mind.
Okay, so I think when it comes to businesses, there are always risks that you need to be aware of and need to be comfortable with, but you don't have to take crazy amounts of risk. And to me, this is still a relatively not risky at all, this business.
Because about the business, like 60% is actually maintenance. So even in the downturn, you still have business coming in. It's just that you make less profit. But usually the market may punish the stock down by 20-30%. But eventually it will come back again.
Another thing, this is technically, 13 billion market cap is, to me, is a mid cap. It's still relatively small, right?
Yes.
Compared to your big boys, you still think sometimes when you invest in a really big business, you go, how much more can it grow? Because it's much harder to grow a big business. But this one still seems relatively smallish to me.
But it's still growing also. You can look at the revenue.
Okay. So to me, this is one of the kind of like the under the radar stocks if you're,
the stocks that people don't usually
think about.
And the stock that we like to look at. Alpha Quadrant.
So if you're interested in finding this kind of like small mid-cap stocks that have the potential to grow much faster than your FANGs and your big stocks. Those are great investments as well. There's nothing wrong with that. We invest in those as well. But if you're looking for these extra kind of like boosts to, find these kind of stocks that can grow 10 times potentially because of the industry they're in, because they're a great business in that industry, do check out Alpha Quadrant. We teach that entirely, how to do all these steps to basically find these kind of stocks and then do your research as well. So please go to alphaquadrant.com/YouTube and sign up for that if you're interested. It's only open for a limited time only. It may be closed by the time you watch it. So do check it out. Okay. So is there anything else you want to share about Pool Corp?
I feel like going for a swim.
It is very hot right now. We're in Singapore right now. It's so hot. So do check out alphaquadrant.com/YouTube. And of course, if you're interested in Pool Corp, again, no recommendation to buy or sell anything. Please do your own due diligence and research as well. Lots of things to need to understand before you buy anything. All right. So is that all, guys?
That's
all right. So my name is Adam Rusmin. Victor,
thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Any questions about Pool Corp, feel free to ask them. We'll answer them as well. If you like this video, hit the like button. It tells you're doing a great job. Of course, subscribe to our channel. Many more round tables coming up. And please do check out Alpha Quadrant if you're interested to learn how to invest and in these kind of like high growth businesses as well. So please go to alphaquadrant.com/YouTube and we'd love to see you there.